Hey, welcome back to the Corey Miceli Show. Got Scarface, Ted Hoytas, Matthias Bergstrom Anderson, the sexy Viking. Let's rock and roll. We already established that people in Denmark are soft, lazy, and don't accomplish much in life. Is that a fact?
And that people in America are mentally ill and crazy.
Yeah, that's people in America.
All right, much love, man. I'm just fucking with you.
But, we don't have any cat women. We don't have any cat people in Denmark, just so you know.
Really? What a terrible place to live.
We don't have anyone identifying as a horse or a sheep and jumping around in a costume.
Okay, hey, let's get into this. A good friend of mine was sharing with me how critical the first part of the developmental years are, like age from birth to age 5 or 6. I think you've talked about that before too, Matthias. Does that ring a bell?
Say that again.
Huh?
Sorry, yeah, I was busy taking someone.
I remember you shared with me, you have a fancier vernacular of how to describe it, but how critical the developmental years of birth to 5 or 6 years old is. You remember talking about that?
Yeah, how self-esteem is developed in the first 7 or 8 years of life.
Right. So I think a lot of times brain development experiences, positive and negative rewards, that sort of thing. Yeah. So finally, after decades of fucking madness, not that my life is that smooth and stabilized at this point, but much better than it's been in the past. After some conversations we've had and some other people, the lessons I've learned from birth to age 6 is get fucked up, chase women, do some drugs. People gave me drugs at age 4 years old. I was at a bar drinking at age 4, 5, and 6. I know it sounds absurd, but it kind of makes sense what my kind of proclivity was for going back to those behaviors over and over and over. So I know my man Scarface has had some interesting experiences in his life. It doesn't have to be limited to ages 0 through 6, but what are some of the stories that seem like scenes from some kind of radical action movie that you've ever had to experience, my brother?
Radical action movie?
That's some scenes from your life that could be part of it.
One that just keeps playing in my head. I was working for a graveyard shift for Burgess Norton in Geneva, Illinois. And I had my radio station on WMRO in Aurora. And I had been going out with this girl from the first year in high school to a year after high school, Amy. And we argued on a Wednesday. And I decided to leave. And she got in the car with 4 of her friends to go out drinking. 4 of them died, only 1 of them lived. I came out to my car at 7 o'clock in the morning and turned my ignition. And the first thing I heard, and this is insane because this is over 20, 30 years ago, but I remember it verbatim, word for word, everything the radio man said. I turned the ignition and the radio man said, Amy Gatorna of 15th and Avalon in St. Charles, Illinois, died today from an accident she was in a week ago. The reason that is so significant to me is a few things. One, life is too short and your life's reality starts right now. This is what I've come to realize. But going back to the story, I knew her family completely and totally. This is when it was taboo to actually be with a white girl. I remember Sundays being in her room, and Ted as a father would probably be able to recognize this and say, what the hell? Sleeping in her bed with the door closed. And her father would come up, knock on the door and say, hey, come on down, it's time for dinner. That was my first taste of love, from not only from Amy, but from the family and her brothers, Mark, Greg, and Steve, and her sister, Nancy. Love. It was true and pure love, unconditional. That's where I started at, and that's at the same time when the drugs became prevalent in my life. Going off what you guys are talking about, from 3 years old to 18, your brain is developing, and it doesn't stop until I think it's 25, and people don't get the things that they do to their children, whether they recognize it or not, play a part in how they develop and what they think and how they move around people.
Let me add to that. I was listening to Jordan Peterson recently, and one message he gave to parents, I mean, he specifically said younger parents, if you have the tendency to get in extreme like arguments with the other parent, doing so in front of a small child is one of the most likely ways to create like a dissociative disorder. Because when a young child is exposed to violence, at any, especially repeated violence, be it verbal, physical, whatever the case is, it creates a split in the personality.
Yes.
So I think a lot of times like growing up in a violent culture is one of the reasons there's so many people with personality disorders, as they're, AKA bipolar, multiple personality, borderline, et cetera, the whole litany of things. Growing up in a culture of violence, which America is a very violent nation. Would you agree with that, Ted?
Oh, yes, most definitely.
Yeah, so I think like the ripple effect of that has caused a real nation of disassociated people. I'm just bringing that up because if anybody's listening and they have like a question of why like a certain behavior kicks in, go back to your like upbringing and were you exposed to that type of those violent situations. And if you were, like accepting them and understanding that it doesn't have to define you, it's okay to accept any of the weird shit you've been through. And going back to the segment one that Art talked about is like, making sure you don't let those hijackers into the cockpit. I'm not really articulating, I'm trying to say all that thoroughly, but understand that some of the issues that you may have had to deal with, been exposed to that really weren't your fault, don't need to define who you are and the actions that you take. Can you elaborate that, Ted? I think you know where I'm going with this.
I do, but I come from a father who was an alcoholic, and I was raised in an alcoholic family. And my dad was very loving when he was sober, and then at night he would, after 3 o'clock, I would start to see the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde change, and I was just battered from being, yelled and screamed and cursed at, and not physically hit, but up almost right to the point every night. And then in the morning, be treated with a lot of love and apologizing in the morning. And did it affect me? Yes, it did. I like to tell people that it made me more flexible to deal with all situations, learning how people on drugs or alcohol react to certain things. I'm able to work with people that have those type of things and get along with them and kind of guide them to where I want them to be, or try to get a certain point across with them. Because otherwise, a lot of people just have resistance. And when two things are resisting, nothing goes, it just stays right where it's at, where until somebody gives in, then you see something's going to occur. So with that, yes, America is definitely a violent place where I believe there's a lot of underground negativity with the parents that don't really know how to raise children, or don't have a lot of good mom and dad raising from them, knowing how to pass on to good raising their children. But we definitely have to, they're finally realizing, I heard on the radio, they're finally realizing how much mental health there is with all these random shootings that we're having everywhere. And I think what they need to do is realize how much health care needs to be done in just learning how to be a family and how to be there is no such thing as a normal family. There's just a family that doesn't have violence, or can maybe at least give each other respect, understand each other, and talk things out without having a violent way of reaction on it.
You know what, Ted, I'm gonna roll what you just said. I'm gonna start talking about the Truth Revolution project that we've got going on. And it ties in beautifully to what you just had to say. What is the Truth Revolution, Ted? It's a community of people where there is no like criteria to be accepted. So simply put, it's a music festival coupled with a community of people with no borders, no criteria to become part of it. And the truth is that we've been lied to over and over and over through media, politics, agendas, things of that nature. So I'm going to elaborate a little bit, just so you, my friend Ted, know a little more about what we've got going on. In the most divine way possible, I was introduced to a gentleman by the name of Tom Althouse. He has done like 15 or 16 screenplays. As one of his original pieces of work, The Immortals, was the catalyst for launching the Matrix series. Even if you look at his like screenplay, even the green blippy screen, the train station scene, et cetera, over and over. His entire screenplay was the baseline for the Matrix series. Hollywood got a hold of that and kind of, well, tinkered with his original message. Long story short, Tom Althouse is going to be the creative director of the Truth Revolution, and he wants to share that message of truth that he put his whole life experience, heart and soul, and creative mind into. So at this at these series of Truth Revolution events, look like cross disciplines coming together. You got a music festival for bringing people together, having a good time, raising that environment where people are like completely thoroughly entertained and just, gathered to just have a good time. The intermission or the interlude, if you will be Tom Althouse's creative work. They'll be broadcast on, the most, highly advanced video casting technology, immersed in an environment that also has a self-care and self-development exhibition, trade show with guest speakers, products, things of that nature. Also a fitness environment where we have, a whole new type of women's fitness culture that'll be launched in some different competitions and that sort of
When
thing.
When is this?
Oh, well, it will be ongoing. It'll be keep going on until the day that God takes me off.
When will
we don't have the first date established. We're looking at probably most likely February.
I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, absolutely. And then shout out to my man Jesse Cerami. He's kind of my chief advisor on this project, and he's got all the equipment staged, ready to go. We've got a 10 truck deployment team that's complete with stage, lighting, ticket office, backstage, green room, etc. And we've got a bunch of very powerful people in this team that are coming together to make this a powerful community family effort that brings people in. And I don't know if anyone out there knows what Web 3.0 is, but when will this really launch and take power of a more stronger effect? We have our first tier of online community built, and that's going to happen relatively soon. The project's in the works right now. So what is the Truth Revolution? It is like a family environment of bringing people together, all ages, races, whatever your affiliation is, it doesn't matter. We welcome people to come in and share their experience, become part of a high vibration environment where love, forgiveness, power, courage, and truth is like the ultimate anchor of what the whole project is about. And I think you're really going to love it. Some of the madness you see me engage over the last year or so will start to make more sense to you because the pieces are starting to fit together. We have some powerful commissioners from security, deployment, technology, fitness, self-care, self-development, finally coming together. And this wheel is going to start, making some rotation real soon. So that's what the Truth Revolution is all about. It's about overcoming everything life throws at you and bringing people together. Forget about not even say forget, accept and embrace what you've been through and work together and have more of a unified, one voice, one blood, one love direction of moving forward and just being comfortable with who you are and communicating on that type of a level. So that's what it's all about. You were going to say something.
I got a few things I could say. I'm gonna throw my number out there though for those who are suffering or just need someone to talk to who's not going to judge them or whatever the case may be. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to give advice if you ask, and just allow you to vent and get out whatever it is that's haunting you. There's probably not much I haven't been through.
Or haven't done yourself.
Or haven't done myself correctly. Number is 331-454-3023. That's 331-454-3023.
Say it again.
One more time, it'd be 331-454-3023. I'm always available. I don't care morning, noon, or night. I love to talk. I love to give myself away so that others can find a foundation to start from. Getting back on that story, life is rough, but life is also simple and easy if you're allowed to be simplistic. You have to learn to create an environment, like you were just saying, Corey, around you, and you have to surround yourself with not only support, but people who get it, and not allow yourself to force yourself on others, but to just learn to be. Wow, there's so many stories of madness I can tell you about in my life. I can remember being behind the wall in California. I can remember stabbings and beat downs on a daily basis. I can remember I knew some guys who were Bloods, and my friends were all Crips, but I knew some guys who were Bloods, and they got some Crips from another part of California in trouble and sent to SEG. And I just became a Christian. You know, I'm gonna stop and tell you that story first. I was a Rastafarian for 20-something years. I remember walking with my dredgeman at nighttime, and Pastor Charles would be under the awning with like 30 guys. And one night, my body literally started burning on the inside, and I was drawn over there. So I told them, I said, "Great, you guys keep going, boy." I said, "Me talk to you later. I'm gonna sit and rest." And this Christian guy comes up and asked me if I wanted to join him, and I cussed him out. And I said, "F you, the Nina the Pinta and the Santa Maria bought that Bible over here. Fuck you, fuck Jesus, fuck all of you." And now 2 weeks went by, and I found the same feeling hit me again, and I went over there this time. And I wanted to understand why the Bible was saying what it was saying and why people were acting the way they were acting. So I got on my bunk in the middle of a 36-man dorm, nothing but chaos. The Rangers were slamming dominoes, listening to music. Script slamming dominoes, listening to music. Aryan Nation were doing the same thing. White supremacists, whatever you want to call them. And I found myself, I got the Webster's Dictionary, the Strong's Concordance, the Hebrew and Greek Dictionary, the large one, the Gideon Bible, the St. James Bible. And it was crazy because after like 3 days, I just happened to look around me, and I could I could see their mouths moving. I could watch them dancing. I could see them slamming dominoes and playing cards, but I could hear nothing. And I laughed and I said, "This ain't real." So the next day I did it again, just the way I always do it, just because I wanted to see if this happened again. And it happened every time for a whole year. And it amazed me, but I was doing it to prove the Bible wrong. I was doing it to prove that there was no spiritual existence and things like that. And what I found out is at the end of that year, I surrendered, and I realized that everything that is said was true. Now I grew up Baptist, and after church, me, Andy, Dighton, my brother Jeff, Gary, we'd go out and smoke weed. It meant nothing. I found my spirituality actually through the Rastafarians. I found a center there, and I found that it was, they teach that it's about giving to those around you in order to get who you are yourself. But I mean, although I kept the thought and the depth of it, I didn't carry it with me in my everyday life. I was still trapped in the madness because of childhood, like we were talking about earlier. I was still trapped in shame and remorse and guilt, frustration. I was still trapped in wondering why all these things had to happen to me. You know, I can remember my girl of 12 years. I can remember Patty loved me unconditional. And she did everything to make me comfortable. And it wasn't enough for me because I didn't understand love. And I didn't understand that I first must love myself in order to be able to give love out.
And to receive it.
And today I can say that I love myself completely. I have nothing, but at the same time that I have nothing, I have everything. I'm always at peace, no matter what's going on. I broke my ankle because Ted pushed me over a fence, but that's another conversation for another day.
Told them to move.
But it's okay, you know. I was just sitting there last night thinking, you know, if this would have happened over a year ago, I'd be getting high. I'd be making every excuse in the book. You wouldn't be able to tell me shit. And that's not where I'm at today. Life is life, and I'm just going to live it on life's terms. I accept things for what they are, not what they can do. I live in the moment. I understand that things are going to happen, but I don't have to be a part of those things that are happening. I can sit in the driver's seat and allow them to happen and still navigate my way through it. Although they may attempt to create madness, I keep them in the forefront so that I can see them when they come, before they come. And, you know, I'm going to say again, and I'm saying this from my heart of hearts, if it wasn't for this guy to my right, Ted, and this guy to my left, and the love that they show me, wow.
That's what it's all about.
I know. It's just almost got me emotional. That's crazy. And the love that they show me, I wouldn't be at a place that I'm at right now, in my heart, in my spirit. What they give me, words can't even explain. It's not even about, financial or anything like that. It's about the love. And it permeates in me, through me, and to me, to the point where I just have to keep feeding others because of it. And I thank you personally for that. And I thank you personally for that. And you especially, because I'll tell you what, you've done some things. And I remember what you told me that day.
I tell him he's a pain in the ass, but listen, the bottom line is this, you know, I go to church and I listen, and even though I'm 63 years old, you know, yeah, I'm a Christian.
You're 63?
Yep, same as you, but you look better.
There. I'll get there.
That's my older friend. He's, I think, a month and a half older than me. Anyways, what it comes down to is reaching up, reaching out, and reaching in. And that's what you have to do. You have to get involved. You have to believe that by you know, we only have so many seconds in our life, so many minutes, so many hours, so many days and years. So when you realize that we are all on a time limit, all of a sudden, the most important thing and the most valuable thing that we have is time. And a lot of people are trying to race and try to get so much in one day, and they have to make so much in order to be satisfied. I love this neighborhood. Now you know why we're here. I don't know if you're here, but they always race around here in the cars and stuff. But anyways, what we're really trying to say is, until you surrender your time and yourself, you say that, you know what, I don't have to be all that in this world. I don't have to get everything that there is in this world. I don't have to experience everything. And if I can help one person who doesn't have as much or has less, and can I get them up, you know, can I get them to one more step up the ladder? That would be really nice. I mean, yes, should you constantly try to climb the ladder yourself? Yes, but it's not all about yourself. It's about the other person going up the ladder, not 20 feet below you, but next to you or beside you. And some people, I'm not at that point, but if, you know, sometimes I feel I am, but if you can push the person above you, that's even better. You know, that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. That's what the Truth Revolution is all about. Bringing people together, sharing that love, and make it contagious, man. Make it like beyond a dominant, making a tidal wave effect everywhere.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of guys that, you know, try to make their kids happy, and, you know, the kids are never happy, and they try to make their wives happy, and they're never happy. So when that happens, maybe you should step back and quit trying to make everybody happy and start thinking about who can you make happy. And if they're not at that point where no matter if you bring them a pot of gold, it's not going to change their life, go bring somebody a little trinket or something that's going to change their life, or give them hope that there is kindness in this world. And that's what it is. So many people are afraid to reach out. And I understand, you know, if I'm a woman and I see hitchhikers, of course, do I recommend women to pick up hitchhikers? I don't. Do I personally? Yes, I do. But, you know, some people will say, well, you're, you know, over 6 foot tall, and you're, you know, maybe you can handle yourself. That's not the situation. The situation is that I feel that that person needs a help. If I felt I was going to be really endangering myself, would I change it and probably not pass? I would probably pass a person. But when you see somebody out there and it's raining out and you see that they're of color or something, they may be afraid of me picking them up, because, you know, just like you know, they're stereotypes of white people just as well as in this world. What I'm trying to say is just reach yourself out, help others, try to be kind to one another.
Help your fellow
Don't be
man.
afraid of color. Don't be afraid of you know, their status in life. Even if they're rich, don't think they don't need help. They do, because rich people are very lonely, and I know plenty of them, and they're lonelier than people that are poor. That's for sure. So when you say, is it, you know, anyways, you know where I'm coming from. Let me get back to Scarface. I think he has things more better to say.
What's our time frame here, Matthias?
8.5 minutes left.
Yeah, I think we went a little over in segment one, so we'll go like 3 more minutes and call it. So remember, it's squat life or no life, overcome everything. That's the theme of this show. We have a bunch of different directions today. I think that's okay. Art, want to give that number out one more time?
That's 331-454-3023. Anytime.
Then just quick update, the squat life front. We're going to be heading out to Sturgis, South Dakota here in a couple weeks. Going to be setting up a badass vendor booth. We got some different stuff going on. Of course, got our squat life merch. We'll have a few steps taken on this Truth Revolution mission at that point too. Got a chance to reach out to 500,000 people. Not that every person's going to come by our booth, but of that 500,000, a huge amount will. We're out there to share love, spread love, build this community, and let people know it's going to be okay at the end of the day. Well, one of the artists we work with, Chaffee, that's her big message, Ted. Doesn't matter dark it seems you're walking through the tunnel, keep going, because eventually there will be light at the end of the tunnel. So no matter who you are, what you're going through, please don't give up. Art, you want to give that number out one more time?
That's 331-454-3023.
Matthias, you got anything to say to wrap this episode up?
No,
Absolutely not.
I do not.
See about those Denmark people. They're lazy. Don't worry about it. We'll catch you on the next episode.
You know, I'm going to leave.
Well, I mean,
my last statement is going to be this. Before the eye can see, it must be incapable of tears. Before the ear can hear, it must have lost its sensitiveness. Before the mouth can speak in the presence of the masses, it must have lost the power of the womb. Before the soul can speak in the presence of the masses, it must be washed in the blood of the heart.
Squat life or no life. Much love to everybody out there. Ted Hoyes, Montgomery Auto Sales
In Aurora, Illinois.
663 Charles Street. Come see us. We got what you need.
Even if you don't need anything, show up. You'll probably get something.
Buy here, pay here. No interest, no credit check. Come on over.
Will I give your number out, Ted?
630-897-5000.
Give it again.
630-897-5000.
You do deals across state lines?
We do everything.
He does everything.
If you need
Trust
help, give us a call.
All right. Hey, Corey Miceli Show on Rap Fiend Radio. Scarface, Ted, and Corey, Matthias, the Sexy Viking. We'll catch you later. Peace.